What's up, my internet friends? Welcome to part 2. In my last video, I took the Honda's audio build in a completely new direction and started building an enclosure to go in the spare tire well of my 2013 CRV. I also showed you guys what a week's worth of trial and error came up with to showcase this ADS woofer. Now, this piece of acrylic may change at some point, but right now we're running with it. Also, this is the home where the PPI amplifier is going to be living. And I'm going to work on building another port of the beauty panel to go around here. And, I may do a step because we got a step here. It's kind of up in the air right now. I've been playing with some designs on Google SketchUp. But today what we are going to work on is we're going to work on building the same kind of trim ring that I built here to go around the sub to go around this PPI amplifier. So I took the amp and I brought it over here to the router table. And this is loosely mounted on that board that I still have no idea what the name is. I've got my length and my width marked at the center points, and we're going to start building that trim ring. And if you remember the trim ring from the sub side of things, it's two pieces a 1/2 inch stacked on top of each other and then hit with a 22-degree chamfer bit. The other thing that I'm planning on doing is, if you look, this has got fat sides and thinner tops. So when I'm going to build this, I'm going to go ahead and have a fatter side and a thinner top and bottom on this whole thing. Then what I want to do is I want to use a piece of acrylic and have a 1/4 inch piece of acrylic going all the way around the inside edge of that piece that I'm going to be making today, and then giving the piece a nice 3/16 gap all the way around the amplifier to give it a really nice clean look. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and take our length, which is 18 7/8, add 3/16, 3/16, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to play with some proportions. I think what I'm going to do, if we look here, this is roughly about 1 inch and 9/16. So I'm going to do probably about maybe 1 3/4 inches, maybe 2 inches. Haven't fully decided yet. This is about a 1/2 inch. Once again, I'm going to do probably about 3/4 inch, maybe 1 inch. Not 100% sure yet. I'm going to play with some stuff here and draw it up. So I've been messing with this for quite a while now, and I figured now's a good time to give you guys an update. I'm happy with the way this is turning out, and I've got 24 inches wide and 11 1/4 inches tall. I used this 3D printed, bought on the eBay for a roundover template to use for the corners. So I got 1 inch roundover on each corner. I've got 2 1/8 on each side, 3/4 on the top, 3/4 on the bottom. So I think my proportions are going to be pretty good, and I kind of like the way this is turning out so far. So I've got some blocks here. I'm going to go ahead and nail these in place. Got a brand new flush trim bit loaded in the router table. So we're going to go ahead and true up this panel. So guys and gals, this is turning out very well, and this is turning out almost exactly like I wanted. My edges are really nice, and one of the reasons why I like using a 1/2 inch roundover bit is when you need a square corner, you don't actually get a square corner. You get a little rounded edge up top here, and to be honest with you, that's going to work out perfect when I run this through a 22-degree chamfer bit. So what I have to do right now is I got another piece of 1/4 inch. Well, I got another piece of 1/2 inch, excuse me, that I can go ahead and mount this up here, rough cut this, and then run it through my flush trim bit. And honestly, I'll have a piece of inch exactly. Well, I'll have 2 pieces exactly the same. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. These 2 pieces are going together and never coming apart. So honestly, gluing them, nailing them together, then running it through a flush trim is something I can get away with. I'm going to sand down these little nubs here because when I put the nails in, it kind of pulled up a little bit. So now when I go ahead and put some glue on here, this will sit nice and flat. Let me tell you guys, if this is your first time tuning into Two Car Garage, I welcome you to the channel. Not only do you get to see me make something cool, you get to see me make a giant, colossal mess, which is always a lot of fun, especially when my wife comes home and yells at me about it. But, you know, hey, what's the point of being married if you're not going to get yelled at by your wife? Anyway, so that's how that looks. I'm going to grab the amp so I can show you guys how that fits around there. So that is that's exactly what I wanted it to do. So I cleaned up a little bit and I set up the next part of this. And I got to do a little bit of explaining. So I've got this set up here on a brand new sheet of a half-inch material. And I need to go ahead and get this reverse shape. I could trace it and cut it out and be careful with it. And that's probably what my brother would do, but that's not me. What I will be doing and what I did on that is use an oversized bearing on a flush trim bit to run it around the outside edge. And then at that point, use my big rabbiting bit, cut a groove into that sheet, and then with my spiral flush trim bit, I will use that groove as a ride for the bearing, or as a template for the bearing, and get essentially a half-inch trim ring to go all the way around. Now, on this other piece, I actually used an 1/8 inch gap on each side to be able to go ahead and for material. So I'm going to do that exactly the same. I've got a bunch of bearings here, and yeah, guess who didn't remember or make note of what bearing he used? I think it was this one. One thing I will do is I'm going to give myself a little bit of room on this guy. And let's trace out the inside. Then at that point, let's see. So if we've got this, that is 3/4 of an inch. So I think I remember what bearing size I used, and we're going to run with it, and hopefully this works, because if it doesn't, there may be a part 3 to this, guys, because I don't have that much more material left. What better to use as a template than the finished piece that I've already built? Some of you may say I'm going a little crazy with the tape, but you know, anybody that's used a router before or stuck your fingers in one? I gotta get some more of this tape. So I got a little carried away. I made the executive decision to go ahead and utilize this inch and 1.625, which was that equate to? Like inch and 5/8 or 9/16, something along those lines. But I used that. I made the decision to use that oversized bearing, and this was attached to here and ran it around, which made a perfect larger pattern. And then I used that giant rabbiting bit and rabbited it out this inside. So now what I'm gonna do is I've got a, where'd it go? Here it is. So I've got my my 1/4 inch spiral flush trim bit, and I'm going to take a 1/4 inch drill bit and drill a hole right in this area here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the bearings and run the bearings along the top edge of this cutout, which is going to give me the reverse of that. So here's our 1/4 inch hole. So this spiral trim bit can go through the hole, and we'll run this all the way around and hopefully get a nice trim ring that'll go right on top of that that I made. Got to be careful with it or you will screw it up, which I've done before. So let's try not to. Getting towards the end of this whole thing, I put a little pressure on the back side of this, so it popped it. And then, you know, with this, I could just take a piece of sandpaper and sand down my nub. Boys and girls, I got this little mock-up right now to show you how this is all mocked up and really how happy I am with this whole thing. If you guys remember, we built this, and I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but it's 2 pieces, a 1/2 inch and a 22-degree chamfer. Take this off for right now. I use the same technique that I just showed you to build that trim ring. So when I ran a flush trim bit on the piece that I just pulled off, I got a really nice pattern, really nice transition. If we look at what we built today, we've got this same situation, 2 pieces, a 1/2 inch, same 22-degree chamfer. And honestly, the proportions, I like the way the proportions are looking. And honest to God, I dig the way this is fully turning out. The piece we just made right here, and if you look, it does a really nice job of fitting this piece in here. So when it's going to be in the final beauty panel, it's going to have a really nice custom look. I'm going to go ahead and clean up right now, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that inner piece of acrylic. All right, so change of plans. I'm not cleaning up right now. I'm actually going to build that acrylic piece, and the reason why I'm going to do that is because I saw what time it is, and I am running out of time to clean this place up before my wife gets home, and I have parts coming in for a project car that I bought that she doesn't know about yet. So if you guys see her, do not tell her. But it's going to be cool, and you guys will see it soon enough. I'm very excited about it. And I think I hear either the garbage man pull up or a UPS truck pull up. Could be car parts. Could be taking my grass clippings. I am taking the trim ring that I've already built to go around the amplifier, and we're going to use that as a template. So I'm going to go ahead and run a flush trim bit around the outside edge, and then I'm going to utilize another oversized bearing, and I'm going to run this guy on the inside, and hopefully when I'm done, it'll give me a full 1/4 inch trim ring around the outside edge. Now, I will be using this acrylic when it's all said and done, but let me tell you, 1/4 inch MDF is a heck of a lot cheaper than the acrylic. So still don't know what's going on outside, but I'll figure that out here in a minute. I used the flush trim bit and I ran this piece of 1/4 inch around the outside edge. I got my my flush trim bit, another flush trim bit with a 1.125 inch Infinity. I think that's like an inch and a quarter, maybe. Yeah, inch and a quarter. So essentially, it's going to cut and leave me roughly about 1/4 of an inch that I'm going to be able to use for that acrylic. So let's run this, and I'll see how it fits, and then I'll transfer it over to acrylic. Once again, made a mess. If you guys are going to be doing any type of work like this, this little panel tool that I got from Mobile Solutions it's been a lifesaver. To get in between the 2 panels that you got double-sided taped together, it works phenomenally. So if you're going to be doing any work like this, spend the extra minute or two. Well, spend the extra dollars, I should say, and go get yourself one of those. Trust me, it'll be well worth it. When I'm rough cutting MDF, I can burn through this stuff pretty quick, and if I'm a 1/2 inch, a 1/4 inch, you know, even 3/4 of an inch at that matter, I could burn through that stuff relatively quickly. With a piece of acrylic like this, I gotta be pretty close. You don't want the blade on your router to have to do that much work. So when I rough cut this, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here in a minute, but you want to get really close to this line that you're rough cutting. If I'm in front of the camera, I apologize. One good thing about cutting acrylic is you could actually see the piece underneath, so you don't cut through the work table. got to be careful you don't put too much pressure all in one corner. Kind of a double-edged sword. You want tape to not get the piece to move around, but then you want the tape to release. I have officially run out of time today, but I figured I'd give you guys a little preview of what I've accomplished. I made my piece of acrylic. The acrylic fits really nice, just like I wanted to, with that 3/16 gap all the way around the amplifier. The way this works is it's got a little 45-degree chamfer on the bottom here. And then when you line it up with this piece, it will give you roughly 1/4 of an inch between this and the trim ring that's there. 22-degree chamfer here, 45-degree chamfer here. I will have to clean up these edges with some sandpaper when I get a final plan involved. This is going to get painted, frosted. I don't know. We're going to light it up, I think. I also made this trim ring to go around this trim ring, which is going to give that beauty panel a pretty custom look, just like the sub. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Looks like there's going to be a part 3 to this. I got to start cleaning up before the wife gets home. Thanks. See you next time.